The battle against the elements. Since the dawn of time, it's been the same story. Today, it could not be more accurate. The forecast, a lot of rain, a slippery track, and a 100% chance of surprises. Downhill Rotorua 2022. Are you ready? Oh man, I hope they're ready out there because this is going to be a doozy. Take a look at what you have on your screen right now. A whole lot of that H2O, fabric of life, falling from the sky, making things very, very interesting on downhill day today. We don't even need these stats on the left side of your screen because that puddle says it all. This is going to be amazing. We got a lot of points up for grabs. The fourth and final stop of the 2022 Crankworx World Tour. Today it's all about the RockShox Rotorua downhill. My name's Cam McCall. I'm going to be your host today. I'm hanging out with Enduro Racing superstar over here, Charlie Murray. Charlie, we got a crazy day on our hands today. You were actually out there on the course, getting amongst it, getting a feel for the dirt. And how would you describe what we're about to see here for this downhill race?
I think the first thing is difficult. I was out there on course. It was a lot of fun, but it's so hard. It's really challenging conditions. It's been raining a lot this morning, and the track's deteriorating quickly, so I'm interested to see how this finals run is going to be.
There's a couple differences on the course. This is a classic course that's been run year after year. There's some changes that we can expect some excitement from.
Yeah, there's some new sections in the larches. There's a bit of work that's been done. There's some really cool line choices that we'll have a look at. And yeah, the larches are technical, and with the rain, some parts are almost unrideable, but if the riders get through, they'll be doing a hot time.
We're seeing the local talent come out strong. This is a course that, isn't open all the time for riding, but the locals do compete every time there's a race here. How much is the local knowledge going to play into things?
I think the Rotorua dirt is one of a kind. You know, you've ridden here. But when it's wet, it's a whole different ball game. So I think it's anyone's game today. And we saw, in the seeding run, the qualifying, there was a few mix-ups. Brooke McDonald went down, had a crash. So we expect to see him come back, but it's anyone's game today.
And something pretty interesting about this downhill race today is this is the second downhill race we've had here in the stop 4 of this 2022 season. We had the Tanifa downhill earlier. That looked like it went off as well.
Yeah, that was awesome over in the forest, and Sam Blinkenstop took the win on that one, and he's in second place in the qualification today. So he'll be looking to back up that win with another win, but like I said, we're about to see how it unfolds, but it could go anyway.
Matt Walker, top qualifier for the men. Louise Ferguson, top qualifier for the women. Our own Charlie Murray loaded his bike up onto the shuttle vehicle this morning to take a lap. Talk us through this, Charlie.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to jump in behind Eddie Masters. He was flying down there. He's the third place qualifier today, and he left me for dead, but I hung on for a little bit, and we'll have a look at this. So there's a few grassy corners, and this right-hander here, it's quite important. So we're just going to pause it and see if you can keep the traction and stay high, you're going to have a much better line through this next section. So you can see Eddie here, he's got the high line. Unfortunately, I get pushed low, so we'll keep rolling and we'll just see how that works out for me in this next section.
Bit of a chain reaction.
So yeah, there you see Eddie's got the high line and he's got a much better line to this next section, of course. I've been pushed low to the tape, and you'll see he carries much more speed into the next section of the course. So if we keep rolling forward, we'll see how it plays out for Eddie.
So this is the difference between first run and, final practice on the day of race day here.
Yeah, so Eddie actually had to wait for me a bit there, but he carried so much speed across this flat section.
Talk to me about just different bike setups and gear setups today. You can see how much water gets on the lens of your camera.
Yeah,
You're not going to see a lot of riders wearing goggles today.
No, we'll have a quick look at this line here. So Eddie goes straight through the middle of those trees. That's a really technical line. It's a dry line, but he pulled it off this morning. I'm interested to see how many riders are going to pull off that line in the race run. But yeah, so the right line and the left line's a safe line for when it's wet, and that right line over there it's another safer line, but it's a bit more technical. We'll keep rolling forward and we'll see this next section here. So there's another setup here, and there's lines everywhere through these larches, so it's really important that you get it right.
So, so many opportunities for, things to go wrong out there today. And with this being the fourth and final stop of the tour, we've got some tight races, especially in the Queen race. A little slide out from some of our top riders, and it could completely shake things up.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays out. We've got Geordie and Via in the finals here, so that could change up the leaderboard.
Yeah, so here's what things look like right now. Via Verbeek looking to defend that crown coming into this 2022 season, but she's had so much competition. Jordy Scott leading by just 2 points right now. Caroline Buchanan in second, and Harriet Burbage-Smith hanging out there in fourth. Looking for an opportunity to pounce today, but she had an issue in seating, sore shoulder. It doesn't sound like she's going to be taking to the course. So Jordy Scott, 9th place qualifier in seating today. Via Verbeek hanging out faster in qualifying. So Via's going to be looking to try to chip away at that gap. She's 66 points back, and the fact that we have Jordy and Caroline both in this race playing defense, it's going to be tough for Via to climb up. But like we say, anything can happen. We saw some crazy stuff go down in slalom earlier in the week. And here's a look at how many points are up for grabs for the Queen and the King. 100 points for the win, and you think, oh, that's a lot of points if you only have 66 points between you and first place. But considering that we've got the top two in the competition, Via's got an uphill battle ahead of herself. But this is a discipline where she tends to triumph, qualifying faster than the other two in the race. Here's a look at the start list for the women. Charlie, who are you looking for out here? Who do you think is going to be leading the pack out here, and who do you think may be able to give us some surprises?
Yeah, well, we've got obviously the top four of the Queenie Crankworx here. They're 9th, 10th, and 11th. And Brooke Thompson, the local Kiwi girl, in 12th there. But at the top, it's Louise, Jenna Hastings, Vinnie Armstrong, taking the top 3 spots in seeding. And Louise, she's from Fort William, Scotland, but she lives here in New Zealand, so she's comfortable in these conditions. And I think, yeah, hopefully she can, back up that seeding result with a strong finals run.
So Louise Ferguson, I mean, yeah, you see her dropping last for the women, but take a look at seeding results. She was 13 seconds faster than second place, so she's on fire out here today. But somebody else who's been carrying so much momentum this season, the youngster, Jenna Hastings. She won this event just a year ago. She's back out there today, looking to make waves. She's already had a really good week so far here in 2022, but this is a look back at last year.
Yeah, so Jenna, she had a little mistake in her seeding run, so we'll be interested to see how much closer she can close that gap on Louise.
That 13-second gap, you look at these seeding results and you can make your predictions, but you don't know exactly what happened out there on course. So Jenna Hastings could have the opportunity to repeat from last year and really upset these seeding results we're taking a peek at right now. So Jenna Hastings already on a tear. She was in the bronze medal matchup last night in pump track. She took a bronze medal yesterday earlier in the day in dual slalom. Second place qualifier out here today. The fact that she had issues in seeding really shapes this up into an exciting battle here for that gold medal in the women's category in the RockShox Rotorua downhill. With this being the 4th stop, we have the individual race to talk about. We also have the overall to talk about, and we want to talk to you as well. Make sure, if you're joining us from home, grab your phone, follow us at Crankworx on Instagram, use the hashtag Crankworx, and if you're watching us live right now on the Red Bull Bike YouTube channel, there is a comment box. We're going to be keeping tabs on that as well, so if you want to join the conversation live, we're going to be taking a peek at that. Scott Harvey 7171 says Hardline needs a series for sure. I'd watch that. Agreed. Where's Jenna from? We've got somebody asking where Jenna's from.
She's a local. She's from Rotorua. And like we said, last year on this track, she's got to defend that win and 13 seconds to make up, but with a crash in seating, it's definitely possible. We can just see how much water is coming off the hill. There's been big rain squall come through.
Jenna Hastings, the Rotorua local. I mean, we see a lot of Rotorua locals making it into our broadcast today for downhill. Not a bad place to live if you want to get good at mountain biking.
No, the community here is just rich, and there's so much talent coming out of Rotorua.
Yeah, one thing we're so grateful for is the Manatikanga, the hospitality and the generosity of the locals here, allowing us to hold this event on this beautiful, beautiful terrain. Such a great place to hold a mountain bike event, and under normal circumstances, a great place for a vacation. We've got a little bit of rain here today, but you know what? That's how we keep the dirt flowing, the trail is tacky. This dirt can also really handle a lot of moisture. Maybe not so much in the trees, you get some gunkier sections, but the stuff down here at the bottom, we're taking a peek behind us at the slopestyle course. This dirt can handle water better than anywhere else I've ever seen, so we're really hoping that today's our big rain day. We've got downhill, which is an event that you can hold on a crazy rainy day like today, and we hope things clear up for speed and style tomorrow and slope style on Sunday. But look, it's not keeping people from getting amongst it and joining the action up there. I wonder if they're running the luge track today.
Yeah, the luge track would be interesting today. But I think we've reached a critical point here, Cam, where the saturation of the soil is about full. So any more rain that falls, it's just running along the surface and making a real mess of this track.
So this is the RockShox Rotorua downhill. Downhill is the discipline where your bike setup means the most. This is the Formula One of mountain bike competition. So I can't think of a better thing to do right now than to check in with RockShox about how they're setting up these Formula One steeds for today's downhill race.
Bunk, bunk, bunk. Kong. Bunk, bunk, bunk.
Oh my God!
Howdy everyone, my name's Lockie. You're joining me from the SRAM RockShox mothership at Crankworx Rotorua. We're here for athlete support this week. We're helping our riders stay on track and ride the best they can. We also have a little store out the front as well. And we're actually doing suspension tuning and setup for anyone who's here who's on RockShox product, which is pretty sweet. And that's what we're going to talk about. Really with suspension, it's that initial setup that's crucial and it can really get left by a lot of people. If that's not done correctly, then any other little adjustment's not going to be correct. On the back of your fork, there's a little sticker, and this will give you a really nice ballpark figure of where to set your air pressure. And we've also got the Trailhead app as well on the phone. You just got to key in your serial number, and these are found on the forks and the shocks. Trailhead will get you in a really nice ballpark for pressures, and then all of your bicycle manufacturers will recommend a specific sag on the rear of the bike. We have Dan here, thanks for coming Dan. We're going to be checking the sag on his bike. Noting here there's no fingers on the brakes, and we're going to get you to stand up into a semi-aggressive riding position. To bob 3 times, just gently, and this is going to break any stiction, and then we can move that little ring up, and then we get you to really gently and slowly hop off, just so we don't bump the suspension. And then we can see where our marking is on our sag indicator at the back. The next steps after you get that initial pressure is to look at your rebound. That rebound adjuster is here on the fork, and there is a smaller one on the back of the rear shocks as well. As you are braking, you want your rebound to be fast enough that the suspension isn't packing down or moving down. And likewise with your compression, especially your low speed compression, you want to make sure that you've got enough support. With someone like Blanky, the braking is going to be pretty aggressive. Those brake points are really specific to the track, and what we want to make sure is we're not using all of the travel straight away. If we eat all of that up, we're losing our traction and we're losing our control, and we can counteract those suspension movements by potentially increasing low-speed compression, or if it was the other way around and we're not getting enough bite with the wheels, decreasing low-speed compression. This basic setup isn't going to be perfect straight away. There's a lot more dialing in that we can do, but it's that correct foundation at the start that is imperative to get your suspension working. Once you set that foundation, you're ready to hit the trail.
Simple as that, ready to hit the trail, got your suspension set up right for the racing today. First rider we're going to see on course for the women is going to be Harriet Burbage-Smith, and that is so exciting to me, not only because she's sitting in 4th and the overall queen of Crankworx standings, but because I just spoke with her moments ago at the Trek booth. She could hardly lift her right arm. She had a crash in seating. She's 90 points back from the top spot in the queen standings, and she's going to drop in. What a trooper.
So do you know what happened to her shoulder? What's the injury? Is it going to be okay? Is it muscular? What's going on?
She didn't seem like she really knew. You know, she just had a hard time lifting it, and she was kind of just assessing it. And you know, if you were in that kind of shape just an hour ago and the conditions are like this, well, there's every opportunity to try to make an excuse, but not Harriet. She's such a charger. She's been competing in so many free ride events the last couple years as well, and you definitely take your knocks in that discipline, so she's no stranger to pushing through some pain. I'm excited that she made that decision.
Because that's not easy conditions to ride with a niggle or an injury.
I mean, especially you know, you get those like quick moments where you have to correct when you lose traction. That's when, if you have like a little bit of a shoulder issue and you're not sure what's going on, those quick corrections are the ones that really jar you. And it sounds like she's on course right now, waiting for a view of her. And there's a look at our queen standings overall. We just had on the left side of the screen, Jordy Scott, just 2 points in the lead over Caroline Buchanan. We have both of them in the field here today. They're going to be battling it out for those points that, you know, you get 6, 35 points, 7, 30 points. And so you look at those numbers, you think, oh, that's going to be so great to add to my tally. But you figure your competitor's right there getting just 5 points less than you.
Yeah, with 2 points gap, it could go either way.
All right, let's get up to the top of this Rock Shocks Rotorua downhill course. Get a peek at Harriet Burbage-Smith, about ready to drop in.
You can see the weather up there. It's just cloudy and raining. Look at the rain on the camera lens. So there's that first rut, and then we're going to come into the next right-hand corner. Foot out already. It's just like ice riding on that grass.
Oh, man.
Actually, what's really interesting, a lot of the riders were saying to me, because the track hasn't had a chance to really bed in, that it's actually almost harder because there's not ruts that are forming quickly enough. So now that it's suddenly wet and slippery, they can't keep control and get into the ruts. Oh, no.
What do we have going on
We've
here?
got a problem here. Looks like she's having to go around this feature.
You know, that could have something to do with the injury she's pushing through right now as well. Okay, this is going to be a crazy day of downhill racing.
So she had to run her bike there. I mean, it's so hard to carry speed. She's coming to the section now that we talked about with the multiple lines. She's taking the low line, which is definitely a safer line when it's this slippery and wet. But she just doesn't have the speed for those gap features up that we saw her walking around. Hopefully she's coming into shot any minute now. You can see there was a bit of wind coming through there, Cam, as well. Just those trees are getting blown around. The marshal's hunkering down under the umbrella. Here she comes, down onto the road. It's quite a G out here. No problem for Harriet. The weather is coming in thick and fast. Here she is down to these bottom woods. Off the road again there.
Hey, there's the answer to our question. They are running the luges today. Harriet may be wishing she was on the luge right now.
Yeah, you have a bit more control on the luge, I think, Cam. It's just, looks like the track is deteriorating so quickly. Since I was up there this morning doing a few practice laps, it's almost different again.
It's a good point, though. You're talking about track deterioration, but there's track development and then there's track deterioration. If we had patterns of wet and dry, you'd get some lines developing, but everything's kind of just smushing together. It's like you put too much gravy in your potatoes.
Yeah, you're right. Like, that's a very good point. The track can improve and get better, but I think with this dirt, it's just getting worse and worse.
Oh, we got Caroline Buchanan swapping her downhill bike out for a kayak. Oh, nope, she's still on a bike. Here we go, Caroline Buchanan on course as we still wait for Harriet Burbage-Smith to cross the finish line.
Listen to those brakes squealing. She's got the flat pedals on. She's completely sideways around that second corner, that second right-hander. And that's hard because it pushes you low. Like we saw on that course preview, you just can't carry your speed along the off-camber. She's coming into this gap here now. And she manages to get onto that B line because the A line, you need to have speed to clear the gap.
Oh, look at this. This is what's going on. There's a climb. They're not coming into it with enough speed. They're having to push up it.
She's giving her goggles a quick wipe because vision is so key when it's like this.
I'm impressed she still has the goggles on.
Dropping off that slippery step and route. And she's taking that same low line that we saw Harriet on, but yeah, this is looking so challenging for these riders.
So Caroline Buchanan on course right now, 2 points back in the overall Queen leaderboard. She qualified in seating 10th position here. You get 15 points if she was able to finish in 10th place. We have Via Verbeek seeding 6th in this race. 66 points out of the lead. Jordy Scott also in the mix out here today.
So yeah, Caroline with a seeding time of 5:16. So she'll be looking to improve.
So this just in. In the meantime, we're watching Caroline Buchanan work her way down the course. Harriet Burbage-Smith through the finish line. Let's take a look back.
You see the rain in front of the camera there. Last couple of corners, and the bike is just going everywhere.
So an eventful run that, I'm just impressed she took to the course to begin with, but she'll be hanging out in the hot seat for a couple more minutes here as we check in with Caroline Buchanan on course. The clock ticks by, waiting to hear what that time to beat is right now. Caroline making it to the luge course, 4:54.
So yeah, she's coming up on that 5-minute mark, and remember her seeding was a 5:16. So I'm not sure if she can get to the finish line in 16 seconds, but that could be telling us something about how the track is deteriorating.
Yeah, we've got some research information here. Turns out the course is getting slower.
I'm not surprised at all. Just this, you need your rugby spikes on to get down here.
We've been tracking the data, and this just in, the course is getting slower.
Once the tires get clogged, it's so hard to keep going again because you're just sliding around everywhere. You have no purchase on the ground, and you can't get your speed that you need to clear the tires, get the tread exposed, and to get it hooking back into that dirt.
Well, I mean, she's close right here, so Harriet is going to hang out still in that hot seat. Caroline,
look at the rut that she just went through.
Not going to beat the fastest time of the day here, posted by Havs.
This section here that Caroline's coming into is steep and scary. You're just fully on the brakes and not being able to slow down coming into the corner at the
This
bottom.
reminds me of one of those like hard enduro moto races right here, where it's about survival, about staying on the bike, keeping forward progress at all costs.
Look at the puddles. She's plowing through those puddles. There's so much standing water on the course.
Water wings. We need some water wings.
She's getting that foot back on. Flat pedals today are going to be so helpful when it's like this.
Actually, Caroline, I bumped into her in the pits earlier as well, and she said switching to flats this morning was the best thing she ever did because they just become balancing devices. They're skates. You put them on the ground. Look at that. All right, Jordy Scott, we're getting a view of her on screen right now. Looks like the goggles are already off. She's carrying good momentum. Oh,
she makes it across.
That's where we saw them pushing. Little does she know right now, she is killing it.
She has saved a lot of time there, staying on the bike, but she struggled to have speed into that gap.
She's talking to our cameras.
And look, she gets on the high line there as well, so impressive riding from Jordy, doing 2 lines that we haven't seen from the first 2 girls.
I mean, Jordy, it may not look like she's on a heater right now, but we know what the time to beat is. She's smoking. Jordy Scott, queen leader at the moment, looking to pick up a couple more points here.
Layer of excitement. This is called lasagna excitement. There's so many.
So all smiles there for Caroline Buchanan once this run is over. There's nothing else you can do, right? Let's just laugh about it.
Riding in the. Oh, sorry.
Crankworx,
Let
you can
us speak.
see mud all up Caroline's face and helmet. Chocolate donuts, I think they are now. No more pink, yellow and blue
Here Harriet
frosting.
said,
It's
so
all
much worse than
it is
seating.
Orgo having a little corridor, a little chat to their
Okay,
down there with
we
our
talk so
Australian
much about how
friend
many
as well.
different disciplines there are within the Crankworx World Tour and why the battle for king and queen is, the hardest race in mountain biking. This is a different discipline. This is barely downhill racing right here when you're riding in conditions where your feet are off half the time. But you know what? These points are worth just as much as the points for all the other disciplines. That's what makes it so interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And this is very different than your BMX track or your pump track. This is real mountain biking today. We've got such atrocious weather, but that makes it way more exciting for us to watch.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Jordy Scott's split is here because, she was laughing on the way down. It looks like she's kind of, internally like throwing away the run, but little does she know she could 100% move into the hot seat right now. She's visibly carrying more momentum than the rest. Unless she had an issue off screen, bet she's on pace.
There's something about riding in the mud that just makes you smile like a kid. It's, apart from the cleanup and the bike washing, it is so much fun.
Oh, look at this. We've got a traversable philosophy. The username on YouTube here says, I'd be killing this. I love mud. So much fun. That's the spirit. Once you get
I agree.
so muddy to the point where you can't get muddier, you got no other choice but just to enjoy the ride. And sometimes a mud ride can be the best ride you've ever had. Jordy Scott on screen now.
It looks like she's had a problem. She's lost a minute on that section. So coming into that camera, she must have had a crash or maybe an issue with her bike. No goggles on for Jordy. But she's continuing down. She looks like she's in one piece. She's keeping both feet on through here, which is impressive.
Marcus Seneca, those poor bearings. Mechanics are getting put through their paces today, aren't they, Marcus?
Woo! Yeah, I mean, this dirt, it's abrasive. It's got this coarse sand, and I was talking to Blinky earlier. He says that he's going to have to change brake pads before his finals run because the mud is wearing out the brake pads incredibly quickly.
No
a couple
way.
of runs.
So, Jordy, back by a minute.
So she's got her gloves off. That's going to be slippery. Once you get your hands wet and muddy, I know that Blinky keeps his grips dry with rubber gloves. He puts like these rubber protectors over his grips so that they're dry when he gets to the top.
You are giving away all of Sam Blanket's top secrets.
But yeah, Jordy's still hanging on to it. Doing well down that steep wall there.
Here we go. Here comes that big puddle. We need to get like an inflatable duck in there.
That is axle deep. Like you said, those bearings are not going to be loving it. So she's just coming into the final feature now, and then she's got that chicane through the finish, which is so greasy.
So Zerfy on YouTube is correcting us. We should no longer refer to it as dirt. This is just mud. There is no more dirt left. So Jordy Scott through the line. Way to go. I mean, you got to just commend her for finishing that race run there. Over a minute back, but she finished the race, turning more into the marathon mindset here than downhill mindset. Listen.
Are you all right? I don't know yet.
Looking up the
So she had a
hill
few
at our
crashes up
sprint
there.
times, the next female rider we should see is Kalani Muirhead.
So she actually gained about 10 seconds from that split down to the finich. So something must have happened above that
Looks like
split.
Kalani Muirhead already on course here. Let's take a look.
Kalani is looking strong.
So the time to beat
She is-
6:38. She's charging,
She's
starting
well
at
in
the
the clear.
bottom. Come on, there we go by 1 minute and 36 seconds. We got a downhill race on our hands here, folks. Kalani Muirhead.
So she still goes 10 seconds slower than her seating, but that is incredible considering these conditions.
I was like off my bike running at one point. I was like, I went low and it's like, what? And I was like,
You know, you went to beeline and you had to run up.
yeah. Except I was going to go.
Back to the top now.
Back to the top. Oh, this is going to be good.
This
Shauna
is-
Hearn.
Listen to those brakes coming out of the start gate. And here
So-
she goes on that off camber. Just keeping both feet on, hanging onto it well, pedaling across that slight flat section to the left.
Something to think about as well is, you know, there may be many riders who had issues in the mud in seating. You know, Sean won the Tanifa downhill just a few days ago.
She gets across that gap nicely. Sean looking solid. She's carrying good speed. Oh,
Oh, no.
I spoke too soon.
Well, we're not going to have to wonder why she lost some time anymore. We got that one on screen.
But she's got to keep pushing because every rider's going to have some little mistake when the conditions are like this. Let's have another look at that mistake. She came into this low line, but she just had a little bit too much speed and compressed over the front of the bike here. Right there.
Yeah.
And, you know, couldn't keep control, couldn't steer out of the corner.
She should have pulled the NASCAR move and just ridden the wall. Shoulder against the wall, that's some great traction.
And these nets, they're great for stopping you go off, but they're quite hard to get out of sometimes. But she's back up and ripping down the bottom section here. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No, the same again.
Oh, I mean, the clock ticks by.
But she just needs to keep pushing because she doesn't know what's going to happen behind her. Anything could happen to the next riders coming down.
15 seconds back now at the split after those two issues. We were lucky enough to be able to see on screen. We don't have to theorize as to what happened. I mean, we could have figured she slid out, you know, it's pretty obvious, but it's kind of cool being able to catch those on screen. Sean Ahern.
Oh, look at do you see the front wheel? She's fighting to keep control. That was impressive.
So not going to win both of the downhill races here in Rotorua, but can she salvage a podium performance?
She's drifting all over the place. Down across the road here. And she's now 30 seconds back after that second mistake that we saw.
Sean second in Cairns, second in Whistler. Kalani Muirhead.
Here we go, big puddles coming up.
Carrying good speed through the puddles. It's a great camera angle there, buddy.
Those spectators are getting soaked. So it looks like she's going to be putting herself into second place. If she can just hold on to it through the chicane. Slapping that last left.
So, the rider who had second place in Whistler and in Kansas currently sitting in second place.
So she's 28 seconds back on Kalani.
6 riders left to go here in the RockShox Rotorua downhill race for the women.
I heard like so many crashes.
Yeah, everybody says the same thing.
Yeah, we can see it on his. It's like,
At the bottom save. I don't know how I made it to the bottom.
running at one point. I was like, too fast down this bottom piece.
So next rider we will have on course now is Via Verbeek. Via Verbeek, 66 points out of the top spot and the queen overall. She was the queen in 2019, the queen in 2021. She would love to make it a three-peat here. We see Jill Kittner did that from 16 through 18. Via Verbeek having to earn this one. If she's gonna earn points, downhill is a good place to do it. She's definitely strong in downhill, qualifying in the seeding run 6th position and
last
up
year-
at the top.
Last year she was 5th in this event. So she'll be wanting to, you know, better that result today. And here she goes on course now. Can she keep her feet on this right-hander? Looking good. Carrying good speed across that flatter section. Slight back wheel drifting out. You see the wind coming through there, Cam. She's going for the little creek gap. Perfect.
Yes. Okay.
Nice and clean.
It's one of the little indicators we get, right? If they make it up that step up.
Oh, and just rips around that low line. Sounds like she's coming into shot now. By the spectators cheering. Someone's banging a frame together.
Oh, this could be a good one, Charlie. Oh, she's only back by 3.6.
So she's in touch.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, such an inconsequential section of the course to wash her entire off the edge. So much time just draining off the clock now.
But she can, if she gets back on and gets clean to the bottom, she can get into that second place spot.
100%.
It must be so hard as a rider because you don't know how you're going. You don't know, you think you've had a crash, that you've made a terrible mistake, but actually everyone else has crashed.
You, in the back of your mind, you got to know that everybody's having at least one crash in their run.
You just can't give up. You've got to keep pushing no matter how bad you think your run is. Chances are it's actually probably going quite well. And Via has been, apart from that one mistake, has been looking really good. Drifting into that berm. Once you crash, your hands are full of mud. You can't feel the brakes. You're slipping on the bars. It gets a lot harder. Not to mention your confidence is taking a hit.
The thing I like the most, though, is that everybody's laughing at the bottom.
Yeah, I think that's the camaraderie between these riders. And the riding in the mud, it's always fun. It always puts a smile.
It's not fun until you get properly muddy, too.
Yeah.
Once you pass that point of no return.
When you stop caring.
There's nothing to care about.
Down the steep, look at her bike just moving sideways down there. You want to brake, but you can't brake because when you brake, your wheels lock up.
Speed up. Yeah.
There's Kalani in the hot seat. She's going to be, looks like she's going to be safe for the time being. Via's got to get to the line very shortly if she wants to get into that second place spot. It's going to be touch and go.
What is the second place time? There
Oh,
we go.
she does it.
Via Verbeek into second place. And she's able to hold on to that second place. Number 2 spot's good enough for 80 points. She's 66 points back. So now she gets to just sit and wait and watch.
No bueno. Like, it takes so much effort to get up, and did you guys see?
It's probably like when you fall
I
snowboarding.
hope you appreciate
Just
this.
trying to get up out of the snow.
You can see every time she pushed into that soft dirt, her hands were just sinking down.
Oh, man. So 80 points is the most Via Verbeek can collect from this race right here. Her job is done. She gets to sit back, relax, shiver, and watch the rest of the competition. 5 more racers left to go here in our women's category. RockShox Rotorua downhill. This is going to be interesting. Of course, last woman to drop will be our top qualifier, Louise Ferguson. Next up,
Martha Gill. So she's the UK rider, and I think she knows, how to ride in the wet. She's looking so good out of the start. Getting good speed. That's the fastest we've seen her on that second right-hander.
the British rider. This could be right up her alley. She's coming into this race with a lot of momentum, winning the dual slalom yesterday.
And there she goes, hitting that gap jump. Clean through there.
Martha third in the Tanifa downhill a few days ago. Smooth.
You can hear her comments there.
It's like a video game. They have the little sound effects. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. You can hear the crowd welcoming her into this camera angle. Coming onto this road, it looks like it's getting quite slippery. You don't want to make a mistake coming down that compression.
Close at that split, though. We're talking like somewhere in the 5-second range there back.
Oh, here we go. This is where we saw Vi with her struggling. And Martha's cleanly through there.
Yeah, that was smart.
It's like she knew what was coming.
Slow and steady. This is a full-on tortoise and a hare scenario. Look at that.
She's
She's
in
only
touch.
1.3 back.
So close. She just needs to keep pushing. She's fighting that little bit of camber coming through there.
How important is it to just stare ahead where you want to end up and let that bike dance its way there?
Yeah, you can't override it. You just have to try and relax, although it's not easy. Easier said than done, Cam. So Martha, she just lost a little bit of time between those two splits. Now 8 seconds back, but if she can hang on to that deficit, she'll be coasting into second place.
So on YouTube, user A Traversable Philosophy says, add this to my favorite MTB genres, downhill mudding. We got a new genre now. You can't repeat this on purpose, though. You need Mother Nature's help. Look at that technique of sliding down one-footed.
She's got clips on. So can she get her foot clipped back in for these last two features?
All right, she's not going to go into the lead, but she's very much in touch to go into second place here.
She's staying nice and wide, trying to get a bit of extra traction off the ride line.
Yes!
Cleanly through the finish line.
She's going to do it. Martha Gill goes into second place, knocking Via Verbeek down into third. 60 points is now the most that Via can add to her tally. So Muirhead standing strong there at the top.
Yeah, Kalani Muirhead has done a very, very good job with her race run here this afternoon.
That was my favorite part right there.
Martha just keeping control of the bike through these deep puddles. This one here just sucks your speed.
The straightaways become corners.
Look at the bike. It's doing its own thing. Like you said, it's you're using those feet for rudders, trying to steer it with your foot. Oh, those spectators.
Yes, look at just owning the splash. All right, I'm excited for this one right here. Age 17, the youngster out of right here in Rotorua, New Zealand, Caitlin Flavell. It's fun to watch this. We've been coming here this is our 8th year here now, and she was 9 when we first showed up, doing the Crankworx thing. See her and her dad here every year. They're now traveling the World Cup circuit. It's so awesome to see her, the 4th place in seeding, and she looks to be on a good one.
Look at that, she just got across that gap perfectly, coming into this lower line here in the triple line section. And yeah, she's looking smooth. Rotorua local. I wonder how much time she spends riding in the rain on this sort of dirt.
She is so diehard. Her and her dad, I'm sure they get out rain or shine to ride for fun and now to train.
Look at this.
Because, look at this. She's 11 seconds up. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, yeah.
Caitlin making light work of this course.
Hold it together. This is great.
She's just both feet on, confident, letting the bike dance down there.
I mean, she is carrying a lot of speed. She's throwing caution to the wind.
Kalani looks a little bit nervous on the hot seat.
I mean, Caitlin's making this look easy. She's got tear-offs.
There's a roll-off. She just, two roll-offs there. So that's clearing her vision, which is so important because you got to see where you're going. You got to see where the traction is, where the lines are.
I mean, she is pushing. She doesn't know right now, but she's taking so much more risk than the rest of the riders we've seen so far. That's a nice number
11.
right there.
She's holding that buffer. She just has to get down this last section into the steep wall of a bit.
Come on, Caitlin. Wow, look at that other line choice. That was clever. Into the grass.
Yeah.
Through the puddle. Hold it together. Come on. Oh, that's going to drain some time. She's got 11 seconds to play with. Go, go,
Caitlin.
go. Come on, Caitlin. Oh, man.
Oh.
Come on.
She's going to have to try and get back up to speed because she's going to be going slower into this jump. She can still clears it.
Caitlin Flavell, what's it going to be? She's got 10 seconds to
do
play
it.
with.
She's going to do it.
She's going to do it. Into the lead. The youngster, 17 years old, out of Rotorua, New Zealand, Caitlin Flavell.
So she didn't lose too much time with that mistake. But
oh, man. That was fun to watch.
How was that? How was that?
Is it clean? Did you crash? Like 4 times?
Four crashes through the line. What was that, about 10 seconds?
yeah.
Into the lead.
9, yeah.
Oh.
Just under 10 seconds into the green.
This is the moment where it almost all drained away.
Let's have a look. So it was that deep puddle, I think. Here we go.
I think front tire
Watch
got
this
out
here.
of the main rut here. Let's see.
She got pushed to the right-hand side just a little bit.
And now her right foot is still clipped in. She can't pull her leg around the bike to then run and get back on. She's kind of stuck in place. Just 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Oh, it must feel like an eternity when you're stopped on the track.
You can see the finish line from there. Caitlin, what in the world is going on? I remember it seems like yesterday you're just a little youngster, 9-year-old out here doing Crankworx. Now you're sitting in the hot seat. What was that race run like?
Oh, I kind of just came into it like, just have some fun, let it loose, you know. Who really minds? Like, just go hard and have fun, really. That's my main mindset today, so it's already happened.
Oh, you look like you were having fun. We had so much fun watching it. Way to go. Congratulations. Let's see how long you can hang out in that hot seat.
Thank you so much.
Right on. That was so killer. Who do we got next? We got Vinny Armstrong dropping in, the style cat.
Vinny did a 4:21 in seating, but as we saw, those times have not been attainable with the conditions. And it looks like it's getting worse up top. Just cleanly through that first section. Here she is coming into this gap jump, carrying good speed. Nicely across there. And into the steeper section of the Larches. Here we go. We're going to get some indication of how she's going.
Vinny Armstrong, such a charger. Obviously, top contender here in today's downhill race, but she's been trying her hand at so many of the free ride events as well. Red Bull Formation, Proving Grounds, so much style and control over that bike, coming from actually a dirt jump background, scaling those skills to the big bike. Between the tape now here in Rotorua.
Oh, she's got a foot out there.
So Caitlin looks on.
I don't think she's going to be able to. There she has 11 seconds back.
Caitlin feeling safe now.
She had that mistake, but I still think Vinny's going to be hard pressed to try and beat that time.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That mistake that took place further down from where Vinny is right now.
But she's losing a little bit more time. Another 4 seconds there. No gloves again for Vinny.
The birds are happy.
Okay. 10 seconds to get to the line, and this is where we saw Caitlin with that mistake. It wasn't a major, but she keeps rolling, but similar.
Oh, wow. Caitlin is going to hold on to that hot seat now. Vinny Armstrong officially out of touch for the lead.
Now we're going to see what Caitlin's buffer is going to be.
Not like this means anything, but it just started raining harder, for whatever that's worth. Vinny Armstrong through the line fast enough for third place so far. 14 seconds back off of Caitlin's lead time.
5:06.8 for Vinny Armstrong, with just 2 more riders left at the top.
So interesting. You hear Mikey Hatter, our on-site announcer there, notifying this gigantic soaking wet crowd that we have 2 racers left in our pro women field here. It's going to be Jenna Hastings and then Louise Ferguson. Jenna Hastings, next rider to take to the course. Charlie, you mentioned she had an issue in seating.
I did, yeah. I spoke to her just after a seating run, and she had a crash, and she also was lacking her goggles, so she had her eyes full of mud, couldn't see where she was going. But here's Caitlin. So Jenna is going to be trying to beat Caitlin's time, and Caitlin is guaranteed to be on the podium with 2 riders left to come down. So that is awesome news for the Rotorua local.
It's amazing.
And like you said, it's raining harder. It's kind of coming in squalls, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just so wet already.
That's quite a kit. I'm going to be those people for Halloween next year. I'm getting a clear poncho, an orange hard hat, and I'm going to be a Rotorua luge rider for Halloween next year. Oh, yeah. Jenna Hastings in the gate, dropping in.
Powering into those cranks. Jenna's had a lot of experience on the World Cup circuit. She is the junior world champion. But right now, this afternoon, she's in the elite ranks. And can she defend her title from last year?
The winner from this race last year, also second place in the Tanifa downhill earlier this week.
Nicely over the double. And let's see her line here. Onto the low line, foot out. Keep it going.
I don't think anybody has made it through that section silent. Everybody makes a hoot. Hey, she's
3
ahead.
seconds up. So it's not much, but it's something.
Now here's another tough one where we see some riders go off.
Cleanly through there.
Okay, that mistake from Caitlin's really going to play into the mix here if Jenna's able to hold tight. She doubled that.
She went for the gap. And that's the first girl we've seen clearing that gap jump. That's got to help the speed, but she's keeping it rolling. That's such a hard bit, that off-canvas section. She's just going to have to get hard on the pedals. Once those tires clog, it's so difficult. Grinding up that little flat section there. It's so much harder to carry speed when it's this wet.
She's lost a second, but still ahead. Ahead by 2.7 at that split. And here's where things got tricky for Caitlin.
Let's see her line on this wall. Straight down the middle. So she's not searching for traction, she's searching for direct lines.
There we go, the puddle. Oh, that could be the X factor right there.
She's got 20 seconds to get to that finish line, Cam. What do you think?
I think she's going to make it. Think about how long Caitlin was stuck.
That's a good point. Caitlin did have a mistake there. And
Oh yeah, she's got
gonna
it for
do
sure.
it.
Jenna Hastings into the lead by 6.9 seconds.
Look at that.
Yeah,
She can't believe it.
Women's field.
let's ask her how many times she crashed.
Just one more rider to go.
That was some great work there by Jenna Hastings. Looked like she was doing a bit of yoga on the bike. A lot of crazy yoga positions to make sure she is staying on feet, on the pedals, down on the seat.
I'm like stuck, just like feet out, like.
Oh, the battle stories from the course. It's so entertaining.
I'm waiting for Caitlin to ask her if she crashed.
I think if we listen closely, we'll hear something.
By the skin of my teeth, man, in a couple of those bits. I was like, not really upright, so I was like,
Eating the mud off her
She's
face.
licking her lips. She obviously loves the Rotorua dirt there, Cam.
Eat it up.
Almost 7 seconds.
You can see how much mud was getting on those goggles because her face is perfectly clean apart from where her goggles are. So this was the bit she got through here cleanly, and that secured her that first place spot because we saw Caitlin stalling up coming out of that puddle. But no problem for Jenna.
We got Ulysses on YouTube cheering for Jenna, saying, yeah, Jenna.
Yeah, the YouTubers will be loving it.
Roscoe saying, she licking the mud.
Yummy. Jenna has always got some good action coming out on her YouTube. So these YouTube fans, drop in the comments.
Oh, Joey Kyber saying Jenna would look good in a Red Bull helmet. Oh, a little hint, hint.
Here we go, Louise Ferguson.
Louise Ferguson, the #1 rider in seating. Now the last rider with an opportunity to knock Jenna Hastings off that hot seat position. She's on course.
You see how hard she hit that first rut. And so Louise has running, I was talking to her earlier, no goggles with an extra big mudguard. So she reckons that she can see so clearly and the mudguard stops the mud from flicking into her eyes.
Who needs goggles if the mud doesn't make it to your eyes in the first place? Wow, she's looking so on point.
Oh, she nails it through there. Front wheel was pushing a little bit.
What's this split gonna be, Charlie?
Wow.
Whoa, 13 seconds up at the split.
She didn't go for the double, but she's 13 seconds in the green. She grew up in Fort William in Scotland, so she knows a thing or two about riding in these conditions.
Oh,
Both feet on, drifting into that corner.
there's really no substitute for just riding in the mud when it comes to, you know, building this skill set, is there?
Yeah, and she's a flat pedal rider too, so that's always going to be helpful when it's like this and you've got your foot out.
She has extended the lead, 17 seconds now.
Clearing that.
Oh, she's
Bridge.
carrying so much speed.
She's looking solid. She just needs to get down the steep open section.
Final section. This is Louise Ferguson's race to lose here. She is ahead by so much. She's got 40 seconds to make it, but foot is off. Yes.
Keep going, Louise.
So
She's got
good.
30 seconds to get to the finish line. Over that jump. Out of the woods here, and she's just got to get through 2 more corners.
Louise Ferguson, final corner through the line. She does it. Grabs the gold medal by 21.6 seconds. What a performance from Louise Ferguson.
That's a masterclass on wet weather riding.
Jenna Hastings, silver medal. Caitlin Flavel grabs the bronze.
That was so impressive.
How did she manage to not get any mud on her face?
It's that mudguard can. She says she rides with it all winter at home. So she knows how to handle the mud. But Caitlin and Jenna are putting in strong performances for Rotorua.
Yeah.
Everyone's in one piece.
Yeah, we were all going. Oh no, you need to go to interview.
So as every one of our viewers goes to Amazon.com to buy a mud fender, we'll take a look at our final results here. For the women, Louise Ferguson smashing the competition by 21.6 seconds. Jenna Hastings grabs the silver. Caitlin Flavel with the bronze. Look at these gaps here. This is not something we typically see in downhill racing. The split between 8th and first place, 1 minute and 5 seconds.
Look at Louise, 21 seconds in front of Jenna and 30 seconds within the top 3. And then we see Via there. She ended up in 7th place, so she's the highest of those Queen of Crankworx contenders.
The morale is high on course here. Louise Ferguson, what in the world was that? That was ridiculous. We were watching so many riders having a hard time staying on the bicycle, and then you came down, last rider to drop, made it look easy. You don't even have any dirt on your face. How long were you sitting up there at the top of the course before dropping in?
Maybe 5 minutes, but it felt like forever. With the rain coming down, the wind, it was pretty hectic. So.
Nice. And I saw you were running no goggles with a big mudguard. Is that what you run at home? And how much does your practice at Fort William help here?
Oh, yeah, riding Fort William, this is pretty similar to my home track, really. And the mudguard saved my eyes and the day, probably. Definitely wouldn't be able to see anything without it. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Louise, way to go. I mean, this is one we're going to be talking about for a while. And, that was a grudge match out there. You made it so entertaining. Congratulations on first in seating, first in the race. Enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Wow-wee. Louise Ferguson, I mean, anytime the rain falls from the sky and we're placing bets, the bets are now going to be heavily favoring Louise Ferguson, just obliterating the competition out there. Caitlin Flavel, though, wow, what a performance out of the youngster. 17 years old, grabbing the bronze medal. She's going to be a force to reckon with. Now she's in the elite women's category.
Louise is taking no prisoners. 21 seconds.
Let's hear it for the crowd, though. I mean, we still have people out here cheering the riders on. We've got photographers out there pretty much writing off their cameras. Ooh, look at this. Shake up in the Queen of Crankworx overall standings. A tie for the lead. Caroline and Jordy, both 826 points as Via slips back. 772 points. Via still in 3rd place. Harriet Burbage-Smith still in 4th. Jenna slowly climbing there, but you know what? We have speed and style tomorrow. We will see Jordy, Caroline, Via, and Harriet. It's going to get interesting. So there we go. What a final for our women's category in the RockShox Rotorua downhill race. We kind of know what to expect now. We got the men's category up next. Who do you have your money on? I mean, number one seeding result, grabbing the win for the women, but so many variables out there. Anything can happen. You still have your money on Matt Walker?
Yeah, I think Matt Walker's going to be hard to beat. He's looking so comfortable. Both those boys and the top 3 all with their mud tires on, and they were loving it. They were saying they were hooking up, they were getting traction where they weren't expecting to find it, and getting creative with where they were, finding that traction, getting out wide, getting to different places on the track. So we're going to see some good riding, and I think, Blinky and Matt are going to be fighting it out.
Well, there you go. You're talking about the final 2 riders to drop, Matt Walker and Sam Blankensop. Let's take a peek and dig a little bit deeper into who we're going to see before them.
Yeah, we've got Kieran Bennett in here, which is interesting. He's done every single race on this track that's ever been. So 2005, World Championship 2006, and then all the Crankworx races. So he's done every race on this track, and he has a lot of experience, but he's down there in 7th. So can he get up into the top 5? He's got some big names to compete with there. We've got Sam Gale, the hardline specialist, and then, like we said, our top 3 are World Cup heavy hitters. So it's going to be all go, Cam.
So we got the World Cup heavy hitters dropping at the end of the race here. Then we have the front runners for the King of Crankworx overall leaderboard who will be dropping early on in the race. Bass Van Steenbergen will be the first one we see. He's hanging out as number 1 in the King standings right now, 713 points. Jackson Frew will also take to the course. He's back in second place with 570 points. So another storyline developing here. But you know what? If you grab the gold medal in this race, you know, this is one we're going to be talking about for a while. This is the muddiest race we've seen at a Crankworx downhill stop. And so there's going to be some bragging rights associated with this one. A look at our current leader right now, the man, Brooke McDonald. You mentioned he had some issues in seating, so he dropped earlier today as well.
He did, yeah. I was expecting to see right up there on the list, but let's have a look at how he went in his seating run. I mean, sorry, in his race run here. He's such a powerful rider, Brooke. And I know he's been loving this track. It's going to be interesting to see how clean he managed to make it down. Carrying such good speed through the large section there. And the rain is easing a little bit. You can still see there's some droplets on the lens. It's not quite sunny yet, but we still have people out on course loving the action. Spectating when it's wet is some of the best.
I mean, that's what we love about mountain biking out here. You know what? All these fans, they're mountain bikers, you know, and if you've ridden in the mud, you know what these riders are going through. And yeah, they need the support. They need the cheers out there. And it's pretty rad to have the morale high with the crew in full force hanging out in the woods. So we touched on this a bit moments ago, but the King overall standings, Bass Van Steenbergen, you know what? He's just been so consistent in so many disciplines throughout all 4 stops of the 2022 tour. We haven't seen him, you know, win so much as just stay consistent and grab a little bit from every race, enough to the point where he's at 713 now. Closest rider, though, Jackson Frew.
It's a big gap.
Just building a lot of momentum on the Crankworx World Tour.
Yeah, he is. And I think also, looking here, Sam Blinky, he has the chance. Thomas Lemoyne's not in the downhill. Blinky has the chance to jump up into that podium position.
We talk so much about the crown, first place. You get $20,000 at the end of the season, but let's not forget that second place in the overall King leaderboard gets $10,000. You know, so big opportunity there for Sam Blankensop to, you know, really compete in a discipline that is his numero uno event and try to get some points here. But the man in the hot seat right now is none other than the legend Brooke McDonald. He took his first ever New Zealand national title right here in Rotorua in 2013. He was just 21 years old at the time, and man, this guy's been through so much in his career, but through it all, he's just solidified himself as one of the most exciting riders on a bicycle, one of the most aggressive riders. You do not want to be the trail when Brooke McDonald is dropping in.
Every time you see him ride, it's just exciting. You know he's going 100%. And he's a World Cup winner, and yeah, it's going to be hard to beat that time of Brooke.
Getting a good look at his bike setup right now. What are some of the things you're noticing about how he set it up for today's race?
So yeah, it's hard to see exactly, but it looks like he's got the DH22 tire, so quite an aggressive tire on there, which you need. You need an intermediate or mud tire when the conditions are this muddy and slippery. Otherwise, you know, big front fender, big mud guard, but otherwise just a stock setup.
Well, look what we got. This will be Bass Van Steenbergen now, the reigning King of Crankworx, current leader in the 2022 series, on course.
Looks like it's starting to get dark up there already.
I mean, seriously, what time is it? Not late enough for sunset, that's for sure.
Oh, there's a good line coming down over that route and popping easily over the double. So a 3:36 in qualifying. But we saw in the girls it was very hard to match those qualifying times. You hear that marshal's whistle, he should be coming into shot. Here comes Bass, the leader of the King of Crankworx. He's had a crash. He's got mud on his grips and glove by the looks of it. Oh. Keeps control through that, but we saw a few problems coming through there in the women. Taking both feet on across the off camber. Oh no, dropping a foot, dropping the rudder and just railing through that corner.
Charlie, you talked a bit about tire choices for this race, obviously looking for the spikes. How about tire pressure in a mud race?
In a mud race, a lot of these riders are going down in pressure. So just trying to maximize any traction they can get. So kind of a lot of riders are probably around the 20 to 25 PSI mark.
Bass looking to pick up some points here. I believe the current fast time to beat is somewhere around 3:23, so Bass is going to be a bit off the pace here. We'll see what this time ends up being and get confirmation on that leading time now from Brooke McDonald.
And gets safely across the line.
Bass Van Steenbergen through the line, yeah. 51 seconds off, so that time to beat is a 3:23. Bass now good enough for 7th place with a lot of riders to go.
So it looks like Bass was looking for a little bit more.
He's been working on his downhill results over the last few seasons.
13 riders to go here. Bass in 7th place right now.
And looks like we're going to have Jackson Frew up next.
That's the big story.
So how many points can Jackson gain over Bass's lead? Here we are back to the top. The weather is not getting any better. Here it goes, he's on course. Into the headwind.
Jackson Frew 143 points back, so, you know, even if you win the race here, you're only picking up 100, but speed and style still to come tomorrow. And look at this. Can't wait to see what this split time is going to be.
Oh, did you see that? He almost lost control coming around that flat corner. The white kit is an interesting option today.
It's a bold move.
He's got the #1 plate on his bike. He's came cleanly through there.
Nicholas, number 51 on YouTube, says a Fat Tire Frankenstein bike would be a good call.
Look at the ruts that are forming. Very impressive riding, impressive save from Jackson.
It impresses me
Quick
how
roll off.
quickly riders are able to unclip, you know, wash out, get that foot off so fast. Looked like it took him a little while to clip back in there.
Did he make the gap? Didn't quite gap the road there. So let's have a look. So he's not going to be able to match Brooke McDonald's time.
Yes, he leaned into that one. He really gave it the
Eat that rutters.
Yeah, we had some of these YouTube comments coming in saying there's going to be some great photographs from this race.
Drifting down towards the finish line.
There we go. Jackson Frew through the line. Good enough for 4th place right now, so he will, without a doubt, take more points from this race than Bass Van Steenbergen. He needs so many to narrow that gap, though. Bass has been so consistent all season. Jackson Frew 143 points back.
Crashed too many times?
I crashed once.
One.
Fuck me. Big Joel dead, eh, bro? Oi. Down all right? Oh, I crashed coming into Skyline and then couldn't hit the jumps. That tight little switchback? Yeah. Unrideable. Eh? The shelves are gone. I just like slid into the tree and just stopped. And then just went over like that.
Jackson Frew currently sitting 2nd in the King of Crankworx points.
Where are you at?
Crossing the line in
7th or
4th,
something.
will gain
I had sit
some
3 times.
distance back.
I think
Okay, this is my favorite moment we caught on camera here. Watch him just lean into this left-handed corner, about a knee-high puddle.
It's getting
Drench
deeper.
the homies.
It's getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah, buddy.
That is going to be a good photo.
That looks
if someone's
killer.
there, he is there, the photographer's there, that is going to be such a good photo.
Deep summer, deep puddle.
And here we have Connor Hamilton on the grass, trying to get some more grip, staying off that muddy line. Connor is a Rotorua local, and we saw his brother come down earlier. It's always a bit of brotherly rivalry going on. He's looking tapped down here. You can hear the encouragement of the fellow Rotorua locals. Smooth onto the road. So this bit here is where we saw some trouble, but he's getting through there with no problems. He's got enough speed for this double. Pulls up, clears it nicely.
Keep in mind the time to beat right now, Brooke McDonald's time of 3:23.
He's looking tidy.
It's going to be interesting to see how long that time stands there for Brooke, considering that he had issue in seating. He clears that jump now. Connor Hamilton trying to find some time out there. The clock ticks away past the leading time.
Clears the bridge too, but he's still got quite a bit of track to go. It's going to be interesting to see where this time lands him in the rankings.
Yes.
That rut's getting deeper and deeper. So Brooke just under that 3:23 mark.
3:22.
Connor is not quite going to be able to do it.
So Connor Hamilton goes into 5th place. Let's just talk about Brooke McDonald's time right now, right? He had issues in seating. He now just posted a 3:22. Conditions in seating weren't as treacherous as they are right now. A 3:22 would have been about 6th place in seating. So that was a quick run for Brooke. We'll see how long that stands. We have Brooke McDonald right now. Brooke, issues in seating. You're hanging out in the hot seat right now. We hear all the riders getting into the finish crowd talking about how many times they crashed. How did your run go?
Yeah, to be honest, I had a pretty clean run. Nothing too crazy. So I just wanted to get from top to bottom clean and put together a safe run. So yeah, I think I definitely think the conditions are changing from when I come down to now. I think probably it's getting a lot more techier. The top is super windy, so yeah. I don't know. Hopefully my time holds, but we've still got some big names to come. So we'll see how that goes.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy your time in the hot seat, Brooke. We just dropped another rider. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So Ethan Corney now on course, the youngster, 21 years of age, out of Australia.
It looks like he's carrying good speed into this double here.
Oh boy!
Oh, he goes down. Not losing too much time, but straight into the bank.
It was pretty cool getting those words from Brooke. We have a little bit of insight into how his run went. It sounded like it went pretty well.
And he also gave us some insight on how the track's developing. He thinks it might be getting a bit tackier.
I couldn't tell if he said techier or tackier. What did he say?
Tackier. So
Tackier.
more traction.
Okay, good.
So there's a replay of that crash from Ethan. He just went, I wonder if his bars are still straight. He went right into the bank with his right handlebar. And he's still charging down towards the finish here, but he's got less than 20 seconds to get to the finish line, so I don't think it's going to be possible for Ethan.
It's an interesting one. The rain has stopped now, and Brooke McDonald is a guy who only knows one speed. He was able to hold it together. If the conditions improve here, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens as we get into our fastest seating riders.
Ethan gapping that bridge through the moto whoops here and into the final open section. What is interesting about the rain stopping is sometimes it makes it harder.
Oh boy!
Oh!
Good save. I mean, it's not necessarily saved yet, is it?
Oh, just holding that high line right down into the woods.
Lance Morris saying Reese Wilson would love this, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, foot out flat track style, mud flying everywhere through the line, 35 seconds back. Good enough for 7th place there for Ethan Corney.
It doesn't, little shake at the head coming across the line, but I mean, I'm interested to know if the track is getting harder or if it's getting easier, because sometimes when it stops raining, it gets worse for a period. It gets sticky, it gets slow, and then it starts to improve.
Will it be techier? Will it be tackier? Only time will tell as we're whittling down our field here.
Not holding anything back.
I went high and then...
There, Ethan Corney doing a great job. There, of course, a nice little shucker. And absolutely puffed, having given it everything.
Well, next up, loading up in the start gate, is going to be the Rotorua local, Finn Parsons.
And great work
Qualifying
from
in the
the
10th spot. There he is. Look at the wind at the top.
That Marshall, is he smiling?
He's a trooper. Yeah, he's smiling.
He's got his poncho on, and he is watching Finn rip out of the start gate. There's a nice right you can catch on that first corner, but this corner not so much.
Yeah.
Rudder out. And the wind, the rain has stopped. It's eased a little bit, but the wind is howling up the top, and that is going to affect things because you're so exposed coming through the grass. So Finn's qualifying is 10 seconds slower than Brooke McDonald's race time. So he has to gain 10 seconds over his seeding run. But the 20-year-old from Rotorua, here's a foot out coming through there. He's going to try and get down smoothly onto this road. It looks like a headwind coming through that section.
You're going to not really get picked because you'll have all these bad ratings. Oh.
Styling the double there. So Finn is not going to be in touch with Brooke McDonald's hot seat time, but he's still going to rip down this course, running wide on the exit to that corner, but not slowing him down.
Oh, good save, coming up short.
Oh, slight over jump on the bridge.
This is a full-on rodeo run here.
Oh, he's gone down.
Reaction tells us Finn Parsons may be on the ground. They're rallying him back.
I think he's gone down.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
He's coming into that compression left-hand corner. There he is.
Oh, he's off course.
Over the berm, I think. He was coming in hot to that left-hand corner, and it has such a G out at the entry. He may have got just pitched over the high side.
Even with the angle of the berm, sometimes when it's wet, it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So he's actually caught up in the tape here. The wind is blowing the tape around. He's back on course. But that is not what Finn was planning for the bottom section of his run.
Oh, boy. Oh! Yeah.
These guys, it's like what we're talking about, Cam. They have embraced being wet and muddy, and now it's just fun.
All right, for the fans now.
Styling it up. Finn Parsons from Rotorua.
Oh!
Is that a no-footer?
Yeah, I'll give it no-footer points. He's almost Superman. Little no-footed knack-knack. Finn Parsons' issue within sight of the finish line. Putting on a show for the crowd. Look, we've got a group of crazies who have assembled at the deep puddle at the top. Guy Johnston dropping in, youngster, 19 years old.
Guy he works for the Whangamata Bike Park, building trails up there. So he knows how to build a trail, and he also knows how to ride it. With World Cup experience, he did a season racing overseas. And he loves the track here in Rotorua.
So 9 riders left to go here. We're into our top 10 riders. Guy Johnston on course. The time to beat Brooke McDonald's time of 3:22.
He's looking good. Oh, no. Come on, Guy.
Oh, no, come on.
He's stuck.
No. No. Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, no. Oh, man.
Oh.
No, you got to go back. Oh, no. Somebody tell him to go back around that pole. He's like, whatever. Whatever.
He's lost a lot of time already. He's going to be so frustrated because he was on a good run.
He was.
And you could see it. It was slow motion. You could almost, I could feel his feel his pain as he was sinking
like
into
trying
the
to
sand.
catch him. No, like, no, don't.
Here we have the replay. Let's look
no
closely
way.
at this.
And it's like, oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. No, we can still save this.
Oh,
we
he's so close.
Now I can't move. Little help here. Little help here. Never mind.
We need to put a bit of a rope on the bank so we can reach out and grab the rope. I'm gutted for Guy because he was looking really good on the top section of the course. But I reckon he might be styling it out for us down here.
If nothing else, hopefully we can get a big splash out of him. Splash the crazies. Is this new Heckler's Rock? Yeah, Heckler's Puddle.
I would not want to be those spectators' washing machine.
It's reverse heckling, right? Usually you're spraying beer on the rider. They're spraying you with their roost. There we go. Guy Johnston through the line. A minute back into 11th place with 8 riders left to go.
So Brooks' time is holding strong at the moment. We have a little bit of rain coming back in. This
yes, we do.
This could be critical for these last riders.
Yeah.
Is that Brooke doing a rain dance down there?
Yeah, as well as my pre-break, this isn't working.
Oh, wasn't it? No.
So yeah, Guy's got the roll-offs there. So he's got a little toggle on the screen right-hand side that he can pull, and that will clear a window. See that stripe across the middle of his goggles there? He's actually taken them off, but that'll clear his vision, and on a day like this, those things are crucial.
So Jesse Chet about ready to drop in. Looks like he's running the enduro bike.
So Jesse, he's from Wellington, and he's a well-known enduro racer on the New Zealand circuit. He's completely sideways. Tokyo drifting into that second right-hander.
We're off to a good start.
I want to see some more drifts like that on the way down.
That was a sick save, though. Full counter steer.
Go completely sideways.
Yes, B. Hugh on YouTube says, people see NZ as boring. Who says NZ is boring? They are wrong. He says, but look at how much fun they're having with the puddle. We're simple, us mountain bikers. All we need is a puddle. We're going to have ourselves a good time. So Jesse taking a little while to come into frame here. We saw him get loose and wild at the top section. We hear whistles now.
Yeah, here he comes. So if that first corner was anything to go off, he's been having a loose run. But that's like what we like to see on the enduro bike. So it's a bit harder to get down this course quickly on the enduro bike, but with the rain, it probably evens it out a little bit. Still not quite the safety of a DH rig. He's going to have speed for the double.
All right.
So he's got the nice little dab going in there. Just scooting along.
If you could give one piece of advice for how to ride faster in the mud, what would it be?
Keep your feet on.
Keep your feet on.
If you can keep your feet on, you just have so much more control. When you have your foot out, it's almost like you've lost your speed and you're trying to, keep it in a straight line. If you've got your feet on, you're generating speed. That's the difference.
Yeah, good luck pumping, generating speed with your foot off.
You can scoot along, but I don't know if that's quite efficient. Jesse's coming down that steep wall.
Yeah.
We love that puddle, and so do that crew of spectators.
I mean, we're going to have to start filling that thing up even on dry years.
Can we get the fire hose up there, please?
Good style there for Jesse Chen.
Jesse.
Enjoying this run here. He's a minute back, but soaking it up, enjoying the process there into 12th place.
Thank you, Jesse, for those drifts, because that was very nice to watch.
Yeah, I mean, our YouTube commenters are on point. There's going to be some insane photos coming out of today's RockShox Rotorua downhill.
So Cam, it looks like you've named Heckler's Puddle and it is stuck. YouTube are loving Heckler's Puddle. Mark
somebody says we need to insert the cartoon slipping sound effect. You know that sound. Brooke McDonald still the man to beat there. He's got a 14.5-second gap ahead of the next fastest racer, Dan Booker. Lewis Hamilton hanging out there in bronze medal position. Jackson Frew hoping to get as many points milked out of this race as he can. He's sitting in 4th place right now. As we whittle down to our fastest riders, of course, we mentioned it at the top of the show. Fastest seating rider today is Matt Walker. Sam Blankensop, second fastest seating rider. We still have them yet to come.
Yeah, I think so, but like you said earlier, Brooks' time, when you compare it to the seating times and how much the times have slowed down, it's really competitive.
It's a fast time, 3:22. Even in the better conditions earlier, would have been 6th place seating. So you know what? This could definitely hold on. These guys are going to need to charge. We've got Kieran Bennett left to go, Sam Gale, Bryn Dickerson, and then we work our way down into those top 3 fastest riders. Ed Masters, Sam Blankensop, Matt Walker. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Those riders, knowing that Brooke was on such a heater, Blanky, Matt, they're going to have to be pushing hard in these slick conditions.
Yeah, I think Matt said that you just have to push. It feels like you need to be safe and stay on the bike, but if you're pushing, you're just carrying more speed everywhere. Even one mistake is made up for by pushing over a minute of trail.
I mean, that's the strategy that works. We know that's the only strategy Brooke McDonald ever uses, is just as fast as you can possibly go. Doesn't matter what the conditions are. Seemed to work for him, so maybe that can take the guesswork out for our riders left to drop in terms of how to strategize for this race run. It's going to have to be all out, keep your fingers crossed the whole way.
And the weather is improving a little bit, but whether or not that makes the track harder or easier is going to be anyone's guess. Just walking down here, look at this. Those gumboots, no. But the gumboots are out in force, and Heckler's Puddle are going to be looking forward to the next riders.
Lewis Hamilton hanging out in 3rd place right now. We're going to take a look back at his race run. As things are shaking down, he's in podium position so far.
So he's just, there we go, he's got his feet on.
There you go, that's what you said is your #1 piece of advice. Lewis Hamilton feet on the whole way here. That was before the puddle was as full as it is now.
Yeah, whether or not it's more difficult now, and that's why we're seeing more feet out, or if he's just riding with his feet on and carrying more speed. Not exactly sure, but it worked for him.
Lewis Hamilton obviously knows what he's doing. They're hanging out in 3rd place position so far. Let's take a look at how Lewis set his bike up for today's race in our Maxxis bike check.
Hey everybody, I'm Lewis Hamilton. We're here at Rotorua Rotorua Downhill here at Crankworx, and this is my Maxxis bike check. I'm running a double assegai front and rear as a mullet. I've changed the back tyre from a Minion DHR 2 to the assegai just for this course. A few grassy sections and softer spots. Definitely gives it a little bit more grip in the rear. I'm running 23 PSI in the front and 27 in the rear. Depending on what the course does here, may change to shorties. The weather's looking not so sunny, but we can only hope. Haven't changed any suspension, have a basic setup around New Zealand that works pretty well. 200 PSI with full volume spacers in my shock and 81 PSI with 4 tokens in the front as well. Course this year is pretty much the same. There's probably 2 or 3 sections in the course that have different features, but the double assegai worked really well last year and keen to stay on these and see how we go. I'm Lewis Hamilton and that was my Maxxis bike check.
Well, it's really fun to take a look back and listen to how Lewis Hamilton was setting his bike up. Earlier in the week, you hear him say, oh, I'm hoping the conditions stay dry. If they don't, I may have to switch to shorties. Needless to say, every rider switching to a mud-specific tire here today, right?
Yeah, so everyone's going for an either intermediate or a full wet tire, which is necessary to do a quick time down here. And you see Brooks' bike here, he's got the DH22, I believe, and that is an intermediate tire from Michelin, but it's really aggressive, and it obviously worked for him. I'd say we see all these riders coming down on a similar tire to that.
Bike setup's one thing, strategy approach is another thing. Brooke McDonald hanging out in the hot seat right now, a rider who goes all out every time that start cadence beeps. And you know what? It's going to be really interesting to see if he can fend off the rest of the field here. His time would have been fast enough for 6th place in seating. He had an issue in seating.
If you had to guess, Cam, where would you put Brooke at the end of today?
I'd like to just
on the spot.
Roll the dice. I'd say he's going to stay on the podium. He's going to be in 2nd place.
Ooh.
That's what I'm going to say. What you got? All right, actually, we got an opportunity to catch up with Lewis right now, sitting in 3rd place. Hey, Lewis, we just took a peek at your bike check. We were talking about your setup. Did you switch to the mud-specific tires this morning after you took a look out the window?
No, I didn't. I chose to stay dry inside and leave the bike how it was. Yep.
Yeah, and do you think that paid off? How did it feel out there? Were you finding grip anywhere?
Pretty hard to find grip. I think the cool thing about it was the same for everyone, but the rain's, you know, it's gone and it's left its mess, but I think you'll need more than just good tyres to get down the hill today.
Yeah, and compared to last year, how different is the track and the conditions?
Rain's obviously here a bit earlier and everyone's getting the sort of same conditions, so compared to, yeah, I guess it's pretty similar in a way.
Cool. Now, thank you. Well done.
Cheers, bro.
Right on. Interesting to hear there from Lewis Hamilton that he didn't decide to change his setup. You know, how much of it is just, you know, not adding one more thing to your plate on a busy morning?
Yeah, I mean, he's got his family and his newborn baby, so he's got a lot on his plate. So he probably just, you know, he's confident on those Asseguys. He races them all over the country, and he's just stuck with those today. And he's posted a good run.
I think we're going to have Kieran Bennett up next.
So Kieran, like I was saying earlier, he has done every race on this track. So considering, you know, injuries and missing races, it's very impressive. Since 2005, the 34-year-old from Nelson. Here we go, into the larches. Squeezing past that tree, over the double.
Was that Bigfoot? Did we just get Bigfoot?
Smooth. KB is such a smooth operator on the bike. Oh, foot out, but he keeps it. Holds control coming out of that cutting there. So he's got just over 30 seconds to get to the line. It's going to be a tall order, but anything's possible.
So Derek Wilkinson on YouTube said they never seem to run the full wet tires anymore, and he's curious why that is.
Yeah, it's actually a very interesting point. So the full wet tires, because the downhill track's getting such high speed now and they have hard pack bits and compressions, they roll over. The knobs are too tall. So a lot of people were cutting the full downhill tires, and then the tire company, they started making these intermediates, which is basically a cut wet tire.
So Kieran Bennett not going to knock Brooke out of the hot seat, but he's looking to be on a good one right here. It could possibly slot into podium contention. Kieran Bennett through the line. Oh, just off the podium there in 4th place. 16 seconds back.
He's just a couple seconds off the podium.
16 seconds off of that time of the Bulldog.
Here we go. Check that box. Another race here at Skyline.
And that narrow bit, like exiting the trees, so we get into the Skyline stuff.
Oh, like through that.
Just slid down into the tree and like.
It's that visor extension.
Yeah. He knows all the tricks in the book, KB. Racing here since 2005.
Real headwind.
Yeah.
It's
looking good for Brooke so far.
It's looking good for Brooke.
Riders move through them, displacing dirt, exposing new routes, exposing new lines.
Well, we got 6 riders left to go here in a RockShox Rotorua downhill. And this is what our leaderboard looks like, Charlie.
Yeah, so Brooke's still holding that 14-second buffer over Dan Booker. And Dan Booker actually also on dry tires. He didn't have any wet tires with him.
So Sam Gale loading up in the gate right now out of Nelson, New Zealand. Here he goes.
So he's a Specialized rider. I had a peek at his bike earlier, and he was on the shorties. So he should be hooking up through this top grass section. Pumping along there.
Sam Gill trying his hand at some other disciplines earlier on in the week here at this Crankworx Rotorua Festival. It's always good to see.
Yeah, we saw him in dual slalom, but right now he's making light work of this course. Coming into this harder section here, but clean.
I mean, this looks like a good run right now.
What do you think, Cam? Does it look like it's drying up at all? There's less standing water for sure.
It doesn't look like it's drying up that much, Charlie. What do you think?
I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean, dry. We probably
the end of
can't
that
use.
corner.
We can't use the word dry at all.
Improving though.
But it might be improving. Gonna go for the road pull. Stylish. He's always a pleasure to watch on the bike. Sam Gale, he knows a thing or two about big jumps. Red Bull hardline this year. He's up there. And he's coming into this steeper section.
Wow, Brooks still going to be safe here. This is insane.
Yeah, he can't get to the line in 2 seconds, but he can definitely splash those people in 2 seconds.
Biggest roost so far in Heckler's Puddle. That was overhead. That was double overhead.
Those guys are getting absolutely barreled in there.
I mean, he's been flawless on this run. He's been putting down the style every time his tires leave the ground. And now he's posting a time fast enough to go into second place right now. 13 seconds off of that top spot from Brooke McDonald. Sam Gale, what a run. That was fun to watch.
He's going to be happy with that. He was looking smooth, stylish, and in control down there.
As you can see, Sam there hitting on a little bit of a knuckles with our current leader. Didn't quite get that top spot, but still sitting on the podium at the moment.
Why don't we look back at Heckler's Puddle right here? I was saying that was overhead, then I said it might be double overhead. Let's take a look back at how high this roost is. Oh, no way. Look how deep that rut is getting. It seems like all the water from the hill is just draining right into Heckler's Puddle. Here we go. Oh! Some lowlights from Heckler's Puddle.
Here we go.
Some highlights from Heckler's Puddle.
More and more people are gathering at Heckler's Puddle.
That was overhead. The kid throwing hang loose signs in the barrel.
They are getting shocked.
This is so rad.
We need to get the hose in there, though, because it looks like it's drying out that puddle.
Embrace it. Bryn Dickerson dropping in.
Bryn from Wellington, he's a regular at all the national rounds around the country. But here he's on the international circuit at Crankworx, and he's getting into that steeper section nicely. He's got good body position coming to there.
Oh, that was aggressive.
He's a coach, so he knows how to teach riding and also knows how to ride his bike. So how's he looking for the time? So he's got to get to the line by 3:22.
Got 40 seconds left here to find that finish line. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not raining right now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We've got 4 riders left to go after Bryn Dickerson here.
Over the road gap. Oh, he just squeaks over the landing. I've seen a few riders coming up short there. It's much slower rolling now with the soft dirt. And that's where we saw the crash before. But no problems for Bryn. He's getting on the grass.
Heckler's Puddle. Oh! Does not disappoint.
Over these last 2 jumps, Bryn is just looking smooth.
He's going to be outside that top time. Oh, no! Oh, I feel like he was going to roll into a top 3 spot if it weren't for that slide out.
He needs to get his bike, does he? quick.
Yeah, right?
Oh, there he goes. He breaks the beam in 6th place.
Did he break the beam? Right on. Oh.
Well, it's a good question, Cam, exactly how that worked. He's also got the roll-offs on. You can see that toggle hanging on the right-hand side of his goggles. That's the tear-offs I was talking about earlier.
All right, let's take a look back at this Pete Rose moment.
So what happened? Did the front wheel go? Or?
Oh, he got spun off of that jump.
He was... Oh, he hit the ground hard. So he was sideways before he even got to that corner.
The crash started on the compression of that takeoff there. He slid off of it unintentionally. Went straight to the body, yeah. So, of course, we're wondering who's going to win this race. Will Brooke McDonald's time hold for the lead? But we're also thinking about the King of Crankworx overall. It's going to be interesting to see riders like Bass Van Steenberg and Jackson Frew, where they end up on our final leaderboard. But right now, Gareth Burgess
from Wanaka, he spends a lot of time riding up at Queenstown in the Skyline Park down there. And he did such a solid seating time. 3:19 for Gareth. You can see Eddie Masters just in shot warming up there, but it's all about Gareth right now.
Timothy Bourne says this race seems slow and fast at the same time.
Yeah. No, there's nothing like the excitement of watching a mud race. And he's also got the roll-off goggles on, by the looks of it. So will he even need to pull those now the rain stopped? Gareth actually, he drives diggers for his day job. So he's right up there battling against these international riders, these World Cup veterans, like Eddie Masters, who we'll see next. And Gareth is doing it all with a day job, driving diggers down in Wanaka. And how's his time looking? He's got just 25 seconds to get to the line.
Kyle Willoughby says, you got to think the riders are just aiming for that puddle as much as they can now. Wow.
Did he lose a foot there coming into that corner? It looked like a little mistake. Oh,
no.
Both feet.
Oh, he's not going to have control.
Is he clipped in? Is he on clips? I can't quite tell. But he's blowing feet left, right, and center, which is not going to help his time. Oh, drifting across the finish line into
Look at
second.
This. No way, the weekend warrior, Gareth Burgess, into second place. 12 seconds back, chipping away at that margin there. Brooke McDonald's been in the hot seat our entire broadcast here in the RockShox Rotorua downhill. But the big story as well is, with this being the final stop of the season, is that King of Crankworx overall leaderboard. We have Bass Van Steenberg. And Bass, how'd your run go out there in the downhill today?
Not amazing. I just blew my front tire out of one of the ruts, and then my grips and my gloves were just filled with mud. So it was pretty sketchy from there on out. But yeah, it's impressive watching everybody come down, honestly.
Yeah, no, look, it's wild riding out there. And how much time have you spent on the downhill bike? And yeah, how do you find that transition?
I spent a decent bit of time on the downhill bike. Not much of a mud rider, though. So yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time riding these conditions, and I'm sure everybody does. But it was a gnarly one out there today.
So many start lists with your name on it this year. We got another one tomorrow, Speed and Style. What's that course looking like, and what are your thoughts going into tomorrow's event?
It's looking pretty wet at the moment, but it looks cool. If it all dries out, it'd be awesome, and it looks like a nice technical track. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how she goes.
Well, you're still at the top of that leaderboard. We look forward to watching you compete tomorrow in Speed and Style. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us, Bass.
Thanks, Cam.
So we are now into the top 3 from seeding, left to drop here in our RockShox Rotorua downhill for the men. The King of Crankworx overall standings. Another instance of Bass Van Steenbergen being at the top. He's so consistent through so many different disciplines. He's been at the top of that leaderboard. Majority of the season, he's also the reigning King of Crankworx from last season. He would love to make it 2 seasons in a row. That would be his first time doing that. And now we're at the top. Eddie Masters on course.
So I had the pleasure of following Eddie down in one of his practice runs this morning. and he was flying. He's got his mud tyres on from the New Plymouth local, but he knows the trails here in Rotorua.
Oh, wow. He looks to be cooking, Charlie.
He is carrying speed. He just unclips there. He can't get his foot back in, but he's still going for this technical middle line.
Yes. Oh, no way.
Laced it. It's the first rider through there that we've seen. And now's the moment of truth. He's coming into view, so things are looking good for Eddie.
Oh, the split time's looking good. He's looking aggressive. He's looking clean.
Eddie is not one to give up, so he is going to be pushing no matter if he's been down or not. He's going to be pushing all the way to the finish line.
The time to beat a 3:22. Brooke McDonald's been in that hot seat all day. Inside there for Eddie Masters.
He's trying to get his feet back, and you can hear him trying to click into those clip pedals. Just knuckling that jump there through that this big hole developing. So he's got 12 seconds to get to the finish line. I think Brooke might be safe.
He's going to be the closest yet. I mean, all right.
Spraying those hecklers.
He's got about 12 seconds now to sneak into that second place spot. Style off the jump, tabletop foot out inside. Eddie Masters through the line. The time.
Second.
3:31, good enough for second place now. Chipping away at that gap, just 9.2 seconds off of Brooke McDonald. With 2 riders left to go.
Eddie is wide-eyed, and he has got no goggle lens.
Yes.
So Brooke hanging on by 9 seconds.
We have 2 riders left to go. Brooke McDonald guaranteed a podium spot now.
We're going to see a replay of Eddie. Look at the style coming out of the woods there.
Cracking the tape.
Tweaking it for the... Look at the crowd, loving it. And then foot out, moto style.
Let's take a look at the jersey here. Is there some dirt on his right shoulder?
You are right, Cam. He's been down.
We got our good friend Alan Cook hanging out here right next to us, pointing that out. The fact that, wow, there's definitely some dirt on Eddie's shoulder.
So that could be the 9 seconds that he's missing.
That's interesting. That's foreshadowing for our final 2 riders as well. You know, we just saw Ed Masters cruise through the line, 9 seconds behind. But if he did crash, that really bodes well for Sam Blanketop and Matt Walker, the final 2 riders to take to this RockShox Rotorua downhill course.
We've got a casualty.
Spectator down. Or is this a kid having fun? I think that's a kid having fun.
Here we go. What are these guys up to?
Super modified shovel racing.
Yeah.
They're doing a TikTok dance. What are these kids?
I don't know what's going on, but I love it. The crowd are enjoying the action here this
Mountain
afternoon.
bikers know how to have fun, okay?
Look at the mudslide. Here we go.
Look at these kids.
This reminds me of myself in our back garden, destroying mum's plants. These guys can do it at the Crankworx downhill track.
We're going to have fun no matter what, okay? It's just what we do. Sam Blankensop, hopefully he's not doing a mudslide. Hopefully he can keep it on the tires here. Blankensop out of the gate.
Blinky was saying to me, you just got to keep clipped in and keep it upright, but he's already dropping the rudder. So it's stopped raining, but there's still a lot of wind coming through. Blinky, the winner at the Taniwha downhill last weekend. He'd be keen to back that up. He's in good form at the moment. Here's this little section. No problems for the experienced veteran. Blinky's also a World Cup winner, along with Brooke McDonald, the only 2 riders here today that have won World Cups. Oh. He's keeping it smooth and fast. He's got 42 seconds to get to the line.
What do you think, Charlie?
24 seconds.
What do you think? Oh, boy. It's
Come on,
right at
Blakey.
that mark where it's like, oh, boy.
It's going to be so close, Cam.
A little mistake up there at the puddle, but look at this. He's got 10 seconds to play with.
He might be all right.
Come on, he's going to do it. Sam Blankenship through the line, smashing the time by 7.8 seconds. Oh, he almost threw it away there at the puddle.
Oh, that was so good to watch.
On the Rock Shots Rotorua downhill here with just one rider.
He's all out.
He's got the roll-offs. He's so happy.
Sam Blankenship.
Wow, Sam Blankenship. Second to last rider to drop from his second place seating run, smashes the time.
And Brooke was holding on to that hot seat for so long. But Brooks guaranteed the podium, but Blinky goes into the lead. This was where we saw him get a little bit loose. The spectators want more splash. We need more water in that puddle. But Blinky scrubbing that jump.
I mean, Blanky has been just steadily climbing that King of Crankworx leaderboard as well. He may be 213 points back from first place, but he's going to collect at least 80 points from here. Look at this final corner here, just roosting through the finish line. Sam Blankenship, man, what a run. That was so exciting. We've had Brooke McDonald in that hot seat all day long. We were wondering if anybody had what it takes to knock him out of that spot. Walk me through that run.
Oh, man, it started off going backwards and then heaps of backwards, but I don't know, I survived and that's all I wanted to do. So I was pretty scared in a lot of places. Like, I don't know, I was just like, oh, if I crash, I crash. And it's kind of wet, so you'll slide out of it and I probably won't break anything. So I was like, oh, I'll just let it go and have some fun. And I thought it was going to be real hard to beat Brooke because he came down earlier and the track was probably not that bad then. So it was, I don't know. But we had no rain then, so it was pretty good to not have to pull any tear-offs or roll-offs, anything. So it was probably the only time I didn't have to do any of that, so it was pretty fun. And yeah, it was good to see all the spectators up there in the mud hole. I almost lost it there, but yeah, it was fun. Loved it.
Nice work. And are you a wet weather specialist, Blinky? Do you love riding the mud?
Nah, I hate it, but I love it. So I hate cleaning everything, but when I race in it, I just love it. But if it's raining, I never go riding in the rain. I hate it.
Yeah, well, we looked like you liked it there for that run. Were you able to keep it on two wheels the whole time? No crashes in that run?
Yeah, nothing. I didn't fall over, but there was quite a few like stops in the woods. I like stalled up, but they were the only hard bits. I just wanted to get them clean, so I pretty much just did that. And then I was like, oh, the bottom's coming, and then there'd be good ruts, so I just pushed into those ruts, and they seemed to hold me, so I was pretty lucky.
Well, we got Matt Walker about ready to drop in. Do you think your time's fast enough?
I don't know. Matt's pretty good on this stuff. He's an enduro specialist, and he can do anything. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. He could do a flyer or go upside down. So we'll see. Let's go.
Well, that's a great drum roll. Thanks a lot, Sam Blankenship. Matt Walker on course now.
So Matt posting the fastest seating time. Last rider down. Like Blicky said, he's the enduro specialist. Podium on the EWS this year. But it's all about downhill, and Matt knows his way around a big downhill bike. Eddie Masters' teammate going for the outside line instead of the inside there. It's looking like he's in touch.
Oh, back by 6.7.
I spoke too soon, but can he pull back 6 seconds? Blinky was rapid on this bottom section.
The long spinning legs of Sam Blankenship. So Matt Walker's gonna
feet up, confident riding from Matt Walker.
So the time to beat a 3:14 now held by Sam Blankenship. Matt Walker, final rider of the day, back by 6.7 at split number 1. He's going to need to be absolutely flawless.
Split
and then some. Back by a little bit more now, 7.1.
He's just losing a tiny bit of time. And he's got this last section to make up 7 seconds, which is very hard to do.
Oh, foot off.
Through the rut.
No water left in the puddle.
And there goes Blinky's time.
Oh, Sam Blankensoff is going to do it, but Matt Walker, will he be able to slot into that second place spot, or will it be Brooke McDonald? It's going to be so close. Wow, he goes into third. Brooke McDonald grabs silver. Matt Walker with the bronze, and Sam Blankensoff grabs the gold medal and those 100 points to narrow that gap in the King of Crankworx overall leaderboard.
Wow, what a ride from Blinky. It was just full gas, especially in the bottom section.
Wow, it's going to be interesting to see where Jackson Fruit finished up, because Blankensoff could potentially go into second place in the King leaderboard right now. He's
got
100
100
points. Fruit had 570 before this race. There he is right there. Listen.
Pretty sure that gives you second.
Oh. Yeah. He goes, I don't want to count my eggs before they've hatched. Let's have a look back at Sam Blankensoff's winning run here, Rotorua Rotorua downhill.
So he said at the top he was going backwards, and then he just let it go in this bottom half. And it paid dividends for Blinky. He's such a fit rider, and he just does not get tired. He gets faster as he comes down.
That's where he almost threw it away. Realistically, didn't lose much speed, though.
No, kept the momentum, clipped back in straight away.
That moment right there, so good. Shakes his head, little does he know he goes through the line in the lead. So good.
He's happy with that one.
That's something to celebrate there.
He is in such good form right now. There we go.
Official word there. Oh no, sorry, this is our race results. Okay, I'm jumping the gun, so excited to see what those King of Crankworx points look like. Brooke McDonald able to hold on to second place there. Wait a minute. Charlie, you asked me where I thought Brooke was going to finish.
You're dead right. Brooke into second. He's just beaten by Blinky at the last minute of racing. And Blinky, when I'm looking at the seeding times here, he's actually faster than his seeding time. The only rider.
That's ridiculous. Let's talk to him about it. Sam, we were just looking at the numbers. That was a faster run than your seeding. How can you compare the conditions between seeding and race day?
Oh, it was nothing the same. I don't know. It must have been, I'm sure the time's right, because it didn't feel the same. But I honestly, saying that, though, it felt like some bits were better because the corners were really good ruts, so you could trust that. But then other bits, like the grass, was just horrific. Like, I felt like I was just going to tuck the front at any moment. But yeah, to do the same as the seeding with conditions like that, it's good. But, you know, I love this kind of stuff when it's like this. It's we grew up racing this stuff at home in Wanganui and all the sketchy stuff. And then I grew up in the Redwoods here racing this kind of conditions. So it's like, yeah, it's like a home track for me. So it's good to do that. So I'm stoked.
Well, that's great. What is it like just feeling the energy here at the Crankworx Festival? You've been coming here for so many years, and these fans are so enthusiastic that even monsoon rains don't keep them away from Heckler's Puddle there cheering you guys on.
Yeah, like I said before, all those, like, I seen them when I was going up and all the kids hanging out in that puddle, and then I was just coming down and I seen that, and I just kind of, that was the only thing I could do, is just like make a big splash. So it's cool to see the fans like loving it, and in terrible, well, it's not terrible conditions, but in conditions like with the rain, and it's not the warmest either, so it's like good to see all the fans out there, and then heaps on the trail as well, so it's cool to see everyone out here loving it, and yeah, it's cool. I'm stoked.
Yeah, I just took a peek at the times, and you were actually a second faster in your race run compared to your seeding run, so way to dig deep when it mattered the most. Congratulations on grabbing the gold, and we're going to update here pretty soon on where that puts you in the King of Crankworx overall leaderboard. Good job.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
All right, so that King of Crankworx leaderboard looks a little something like this. Sam Blankensoff grabs those 100 points, extends his 500 to 600, which is good enough for second place now. He's 127 points back from Bas van Steenbergen, but most importantly, he's 6 points ahead of Jackson Fruit. Jackson Fruit does have speed and style tomorrow, another opportunity to get some points, but Sam Blankensoff, I mean, we talked about it, $20,000 for first place, the King of Crankworx. Second place still good enough for $10,000. So you know what? That performance could definitely pay off for him today, digging deep in these crazy, treacherous conditions.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, he's backed up his win last weekend in the Tanifar downhill with this Skyline downhill today. So his downhill form is so good at the moment.
Yeah, you know, it's great that We had such crazy conditions for the downhill race, but it's also not raining right now. So we're looking forward to speed and style tomorrow, and then Sunday, slope style. We got the course right behind us. You can see they've redesigned it. There's a handful of new features. That's something that's been exciting this season, is a lot of like creative different features to get the riders out of their comfort zone. So cross your fingers at home for us as well for this weather to hold off, but what a great downhill race. Final thoughts from the race here today, Charlie?
Oh, I just love a mud race. It's so exciting, and the riders did so well. Everyone who came down had a smile on, so that was a huge thing for me. And yeah, seeing Blinky and his experience just paying off, it's really cool.
Well, thanks for hanging out with me up here in the booth. Charlie, thanks to you at home for joining us. Thanks to all the volunteers here in Rotorua for coming out, making this event possible, even when the rain is falling from the sky in such a crazy manner. Thanks to the fans for lining the course here today and celebrating our amazing athletes out here at Crankworx Rotorua 2022. We'll see you tomorrow for Speed and Style.